So this past November, I went on one of the best trips of my life to Japan. My girlfriend and I visited for 2 weeks and we had an absolute blast. So in this video, I want to talk about my experience and what I learned there. So it was a little after 5 p.m. on Sunday when we landed at Tokyo Narita Airport. Obviously, our bodies were very confused after switching from Eastern Standard Time to Tokyo time and enduring a 13-hour flight.
Oh no.
So we navigated the airport to pick up our luggage and then headed downstairs to pick up our pocket Wi-Fi, which would be our only internet connection while we were in the country. Japan is not known for its public Wi-Fi, so apart from coffee shops and the accommodations that you stay in, a SIM card or wireless hotspot is a must. So next we made our way down to the ticketing booth for the Narita Express train, which would take us from Narita Airport to Tokyo Station. And as we booked the tickets, got all set, we noticed that the next train was due in 5 minutes, so we started sprinting down the hallway to the tracks. We got there just as the announcer was saying that they were departing. We sat down, got our luggage stowed, and we were off on our way to Tokyo.
And we almost missed this train by like a minute. We were sprinting down the platform. It was chaos.
So we visited 5 cities in total while we were in Japan, and that was 3.5 days in Tokyo. We spent 6.5 days in Kyoto, and then we spent around 6 days in Osaka. And that included a day trip to Nara and Kobe whenever we were in Kyoto and Osaka. So while we were in Tokyo, we stayed in the Shinjuku and Shibuya area. There it is, Shinjuku, baby. Shinjuku, baby. It's further away from where kind of all the chaos is of the Shinjuku area, but we had a nice park near us, plenty of coffee shops, and things we could walk to within distance from our hotel. In Kyoto, we were a little ways north. We were basically a mile away from the Imperial Palace in Kyoto. And then in Osaka, we stayed near Tenma Station. We were right near the river, which was really nice, and we were not too far from Osaka Castle. So for accommodations, we stayed at a larger hotel chain while in Tokyo, and that was called Appa Hotel. They're all across the country in Japan. And then in Kyoto and Osaka, we stayed at some smaller apartment-style Airbnbs. The Appa Hotel was honestly great. The hotel rooms are very small. That's kind of widely known that it's a very budget kind of business hotel. There was a really nice buffet that we could go and get breakfast every morning, which was honestly one of the highlights of the trip, at least at the beginning. There was a super easy check-in, and there was a pool and a spa available. We didn't actually end up using those because we were too busy walking around seeing all the things in Tokyo. And then what was nice is as we got further into the country and we went towards Kyoto, we switched to a more apartment-style accommodation, which is called Ben's Guest House, which I highly recommend. But it was great to be able to cook our breakfasts every day if we wanted to, and we were right near a local, really small grocery store, which was so cool to just walk in there, act like we were locals, get some food for the day, get some food for the next day. So 2 weeks was definitely a long trip in Japan, and it definitely gave us enough time to explore the areas we were staying in, the different communities. We also would go out for dinner, obviously, and go get drinks, and we went to bunch of arcades. Did some karaoke. And then really we walked around parks, we walked around museums, we walked around malls. Probably my highlight, at least in the Tokyo area, was the Shinjuku Goen National Garden. Just beautiful. Walked around there and there were so many flowers and cool plants and things to look at, and it was just a very peaceful area. We went hiking as well, went to many different temples. Sensoji Temple, which was Asakusa in Tokyo. That was definitely the more touristy one. There were a lot of people there, but it was cool to see all the little shops and areas around there. In Kyoto, we went to Arashiyama, which was very nice. It was kind of this like hillside, kind of mountainous area, and then we walked to the bamboo forest. And then another hike was Mount Inari, which is the Fushimi Inari Shrine, which if you see any picture of Kyoto, you're always going to see that temple. But we walked to where kind of the more touristy area of the temple, and then we took a side path, and I thought it would get us to the shrine, but it ended up taking us the whole way up the mountain and around to the summit. It was probably about an hour, hour and a half, something like that. Allison's dying, but she's doing good. Just a lump. That was really cool because we just did not see many people, definitely not many people that were doing that hike. And once we kind of hiked around, we got to the bottom, we had a nice bowl of ramen, and we were spent, but that was a great day. And then this wasn't really a hike, but it was more of just a walk up to Osaka Castle. Which kind of meanders through Osaka and then up to where the actual castle sits up on the hill with these huge slabs of stone, and it's an amazing sight. Another activity that I did more so than my girlfriend Allison was to just go for runs, and I would just basically do an out and back so I knew where I could go because I didn't always have internet on me. But just running around the small streets, and especially in Kyoto, I ran up to a temple, and that was really cool to just run along some small communities, get lots of looks from people like, what is that tall guy doing? Where's he going? But that was a really cool thing, was just going for runs and getting to experience everything around, all the smells and all the sights. So one thing that I definitely learned about Japan while I was there is that everything just works. The trains run on time, everything is very efficient. There are convenience stores, konbinis as they're called, on literally every corner. I mean, you can look this way and there's a convenience store, you can look this way, there's a convenience store. And I think it's kind of a whole culture of convenience because, I mean, well, to be fair, a lot of people work a lot. So they have a lot of accommodations and things for people to just grab quick food that's actually really good. So everything just works in Japan. So now for my overall highlights of the trip, and honestly, as people have asked me about the trip and as I've talked about it, these are kind of the things that I've pointed out. One is just Tokyo in general, that my girlfriend and I had a lot of fun in the city of Tokyo, which I come from small town America, so I really did not expect. It's one of the largest, if not the largest city in the world. So many people, but there are so many cool little small communities, and taking the public transit is so easy and so nice. It's so clean. Such a clean city. So Tokyo, I honestly feel like we could go back and we could spend an entire week there and have just so much fun. And then next was the bullet train, which we got to ride from Tokyo to Kyoto, and then we rode from Osaka back to Tokyo. It's amazing. I mean, 170, 180 miles per hour. You're just flying by in the Japan countryside, and you get to get some snacks with you, a little bento box that I got, and just eat your food. It's so smooth, and it's just such a fun experience. It was the coolest thing. And then obviously food. I have barely even touched on food. I mean, we ate so many different things, so much sushi, which I love. We had ramen, Japanese curry. Koko Ichibanyo was one of the kind of the chains, but I love Japanese curry now. That was something that I really wanted to try, and it was so good. And then desserts, I love dango, mochi, and even some of the fun little ice creams like Coolish you can get at a convenience store, and some of the packaged ice creams as well were so good. There was also a lot of Indian and Nepalese food, which we got a couple times, and I love Indian. I love getting Indian whenever I'm in the States, but it was really good. It was very different, the Japanese style of Indian cuisine, but it was very good. I feel like the final highlight really is just the culture of respect, and people are so patient, mostly because there's so many people that you have to be patient, but they take care of the space around them. That's why the cities were so clean, and they're just so nice whenever you go to talk to somebody at a restaurant, even if you can't really speak the language. We couldn't speak much Japanese, obviously. You can still get by, and they're still very nice and accommodating. So that was my experience in Japan, and it was an awesome trip. I definitely want to go back, and I feel like now that we've done kind of the main tourist route, I feel like I want to either go north or south and kind of explore some more rural communities. I've thought about trying to get my international driver's license and be able to drive through the countryside. I think would be so cool to be able to hit some more spots easier without having to worry about public transit. So Japan is a beautiful country full of delicious food, proud and respectful people, and a rich culture to explore. I cannot wait to return. So if you have any questions about my trip, or if you're planning to visit Japan yourself, let me know down in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, hit like and subscribe. It helps out the channel and I greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.